The FDA has approved Moderna and Johnson & Johnson booster shots for Americans. Individuals who received Moderna are eligible for a booster shot if they are at least 6 months out from their last dose, 65 years or older, at a higher risk of severe COVID-19 or a higher risk of getting exposed to COVID-19. Individuals who received Johnson & Johnson are eligible for a booster shot if they are at least 2 months out from their original dose and at least 18 years or older. But before you can roll up your sleeves, the CDC still needs to make a final decision on booster shots, and that's expected tonight. A local correctional facility has been on lockdown since Monday due to COVID-19. Northeast Correctional Complex in St. Johnsbury reported its first case on October 25th. Following this first positive, the unit was placed on full lockdown and tested again on the 29th, revealing an additional 6 cases. Now the entire facility is placed on lockdown this week. Another round of testing on Tuesday revealed 6 more cases, bringing the total case count to 15.
I don't know how it transferred into the facility. We've worked with the VDH and the epidemiology team, and through our contact tracing have not been able to determine where the outbreak initiated from.
Testing is scheduled again tomorrow with additional testing next week. The second-seeded Lady Vikings took on the 6th-seeded Highlanders in field hockey semifinal action on Tuesday afternoon. The Vikings came out strong early, getting a goal by senior Ella Buckingham at 10:06. It was a very back-and-forth first half until Jamie Fenoff would score Linden's second goal with 7:30 to go in the half. Both teams came out strong defensively in the second half, but Harwood's offense couldn't get it together. The Vikings' early goals were enough to punch their ticket to the championship. Now Linden heads back to the practice field to get ready for the final game of the season.
It's hard because we're going to be playing on turf, and that's a lot faster than grass, so we're going to have to really make quick passes and try to just keep moving, trying to stay fast.
The Vikings are set to play the first-seeded Windsor Yellow Jackets in the championship game on Saturday at the University of Vermont at 12:30 p.m. Governor Phil Scott made his way to North Country Hospital this afternoon to receive his COVID-19 booster shot. The governor visited the Newport Hospital to promote COVID vaccines and boosters across the state. Scott was joined by Secretary Mike Smith and Commissioner Mark Levine. Scott signed up for a mix-and-match booster, getting the Moderna booster following his Johnson & Johnson vaccination in March. Dr. Levine then touched on how the Northeast Kingdom's vaccination rates are the lowest in the state due to some hesitation in getting the vaccine.
The vaccinated are doing much better than the unvaccinated with regard to COVID, and with regard to the rest of their lives, we're not seeing long-term impacts, and most of those should have shown up by now.
Clinics will be popping up this weekend on Saturday at the Barton Fire Station from 8 to 11, Lunenburg Common from 10 to 1, and on Sunday, the Glover Town Green from 10 to 1. Appointments are walk-in only, but you can also make appointments online at healthvermont.gov. A popular Northeast Kingdom lake is getting some renovations to its boat launch and parking lot before next year's season. Lake Willoughby's south end will receive parking area improvements, ADA accessible boat ramp access and boardwalk to the West Cove Beach, and bathroom facilities. The first phase of the project began today and will focus completing an overflow parking lot at the ball fields on the west side of Route 5A. Then, next spring, they will begin phase 2.
Create a safer place for the public to access the state forest and the beaches on Willoughby, and to just generally clean up the place and have sanitary facilities and whatnot to accommodate the existing uses at the south end.
Until the project is completed, visitors can expect detours and construction vehicles causing delays on Lake Willoughby's south end. As COVID cases numbers rise across Vermont, the state education agency is creating new ways to keep students in the classroom. This week, Vermont schools reported 174 students tested positive for COVID in the past 7 days. 344 cases have been found since the start of school. Education officials are starting a pilot program where 4 schools will have students screened for COVID at home.
The use of these home testing kits should speed up access to testing for affected students. We're also working to speed up our surveillance testing in schools and to identify cases as soon as possible. And this will definitely be an essential part of our strategy as the Delta surge comes down.
A new contact tracing protocol is being adopted. Contact tracing will only be done in schools where vaccination rates are less than 80%. Elementary schools will still need to do contact tracing until vaccines become available for children younger than 12. An increase in COVID cases prompted the St. Johnsbury School to start 2 hours late this morning. COVID has affected at least 6 classes at the school, with 4 of those classes going completely remote. The 2 other classes with positive cases were in the 7th and 8th grade. The CDC and Vermont Health Department say only unvaccinated close contacts at school must stay home.
What I have been prepping our leadership team and our COVID response team about is that until we have a vaccine readily available for pre-K through, say, 5th or 6th graders or under 12-year-old children, we have to be ready for substantial disruption in our building.
Dr. Ricca says more than a third of their students aren't eligible to receive the vaccine due to their age. One local Lyndonville resident is preparing to open the first aviation museum in the state. Vinnie Matias is a longtime Lyndon resident who has a passion for aviation and wants to share that passion with others. Matias purchased the 1820 schoolhouse from the state, which served as the first terminal for the Caledonia County Airport in 1974. His plan is to take the old abandoned schoolhouse and turn it into Vermont's first aviation museum. Matias plans to focus the museum in 4 key areas: Vermont aviation history, local aviation legends, a library to learn about aviation across the state, and featured projects that can range from building model planes to possibly building a sailplane. The museum being in Caledonia County is fitting, as it is the birthplace of Vermont aviation, dating back to 1910.
Vermont was the last state in the nation to have a state aviation museum, and I thought it appropriate that we have one because the first flight in the state of Vermont was right here in Caledonia County.
Matias is currently gathering artifacts that will go into the museum. He hopes to have the museum open by the spring, with anticipated hours being Saturdays from 10 to 2. But this weekend, you are welcome to come out to the Caledonia County Airport on Saturday from 10 to 2 for an open house and fly-in event. The event will showcase what work was done to clean up the old schoolhouse building and will be hosted by the Experimental Aviation Association Chapter 1576 of Lyndonville. This is the last weekend for beer lovers to get out and experience the Northeast Kingdom Brew Trail for a chance to win some great prizes. The Vermont Brewers Association has created the trail to try and drive business to local breweries in the kingdom. The Brew Trail promotional event runs through Sunday at 6 breweries in our area. Just look for the QR code at each stop along the trail. Visit all 6 and you have a chance to win a 16-ounce Yeti Colster and day trip lunch bag along with gift certificates to other local businesses. The winner will be announced on September 15th.
We just wanted to come up with a way to kind of invite people to go back and maybe visit brewers they haven't been to in a while or if they haven't been to at all. And so just highlighting a different trail each month to hopefully drive some business, either with new customers or return customers.
To find out more about the Northeast Kingdom Brewery Trail and other beer trails around Vermont, you can go to the Vermont Brewers Association website at www.vermontbrewers.com. St. Johnsbury Academy has a new field of dreams. New 7's Nick Fish has more on the new Fairbanks field.
Tomorrow night will mark the first time since 1949 that the Hilltoppers will compete under the lights at home. This time, student athletes will be competing on the new artificial turf that was installed this summer at St. Johnsbury Academy's Fairbanks Field. This new field was made possible through fundraising and donations by community members.
We started fundraising for the turf field, so this is the early stages of trying to really increase some of our athletic upgrades.
Along with new turf and field lights, Fairbanks Field will transform into a multi-use facility and will be the new home for soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, and ultimate frisbee.
They're excited to be out there on that field, those athletes who will be playing out here. But they're also going to be excited to get in the stands during evening games.
The new lights will allow St. Johnsbury teams to practice later in the evenings and compete under the lights, making Friday nights the new night for home football games.
The community is going to be able to come out on Friday nights and other evenings. I think it's just it's going to be a fantastic meeting place.
The field will not only be utilized by Academy student athletes, but will also be used by members of the St. Johnsbury community.
Our community, our rec department, our youth programs, a lot of community events happen here. So the turf field will be really accessible to many people.
St. Johnsbury Academy will hold an official ribbon cutting ceremony during halftime of the 116th edition of the game on Saturday, October 23rd. Nick Fish, News 7.